Somerville. Welcome to Connecting Communities. I'm your host, Nancy Bacci. With me this month is Nina Eichner, Special Events Manager for the Arts Council for the City of Somerville. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So, as we know, you were on about 2 years ago when you first started, so we got to know a little bit about you and your hopes for the position. So I thought it'd be nice to start off and say, 2 years in, tell me what that's been like.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. 2 years. I survived. Yeah,
quite.
right?
Yeah.
So we've had about 25 events each year for the past 2 years. So 50 events in total. They've went well. I definitely feel like I've got my footing a little more. And it's just been a really good chance to build on, you know, the first year just kind of getting a handle on things, and then last year really building, and then this year getting to try out new things and do even more new festivals and work with new groups that we haven't worked with in the past. It's really exciting.
That's great. Yeah, you've definitely made a splash in the past 2 years. I feel that I often see you out and about doing all sorts of things and getting ready, and it's always an exciting time in the city. The Arts Council really does offer a lot of opportunities for people to engage with the community in a variety of ways. So can you just tell us a little bit about the Arts Council, where you're housed, staffing?
Yeah, so the Arts Council's in the Annex City Hall building at 50 Evergreen Ave, and we have 4 full-time staff members who work on events, programming. We have youth summer camps. We do a grant program with the Mass Cultural Council. We re-grant money that they give us, as well as city money for artists. We also, you know, work on different policy, public art, and we have the Nipple entrepreneurship program, which is a culinary program where we support immigrants to open culinary businesses or get culinary training. And a lot of them come from other countries with a culinary experience, but they have to figure out the permitting process and kind of the whole process of getting licensed here, and so we support that. So a lot of different projects going on with the 4 of us, and then we have support from some part-time staff and interns. Yeah.
The Nipple program is very interesting, and I feel one of the ones that's always important to highlight.
Yeah.
We think of Somerville as being such a cultural, diverse hub, and a big part of that is the element of food, right?
Yes, definitely.
It brings people together. It's a way for people to really share and show pride in their heritage and their origins. So having that as an opportunity is really great. And you have the cookbook that Nipple produced, which is great for people to really see and experience all of that.
Yeah, and right now we've been having a lot of our entrepreneurs vending at our events and at other places like at Aeronaut. So they've been getting the chance to vend and learn how to market themselves, how pricing works, and they get to kind of practice and hone their skills. And again, a lot of them, it's not that we're teaching anyone how to cook, they already know that part, but it's giving them the opportunity to learn how to work within, you know, kind of the system of food services and restaurants in Somerville and help them be as successful as possible.
And it does. It takes a lot to navigate those sort of systems, particularly if they're very different from what you're used to. And, you know, providing that support, I think, makes such a welcoming atmosphere and really encourages success. So that's one of my favorite things to always hear about. I always like when I see things and events that are happening with that, and having them at already existing events is really just a nice way to increase capacity as well.
Yep, they'll be at our festivals all summer long, vending and alongside other Somerville restaurants. And I think it's really great if someone comes as an immigrant to Somerville and then they're able to provide food and share their culture with people, then it really is a way for them to integrate into the community and feel welcome, people really appreciating what they're offering. So I think it's a great opportunity.
It's nice that you referenced upcoming events and festivals because we have a lot to talk about.
Happening.
The warm weather is here, as we know, so you kicked off the Summer Street season the beginning of June.
Yes.
Down with Carnival down at East Somerville, and I heard that was a rousing success.
It's great. Yeah, it went well. Carnival's always a really fun one because we have so many restaurants in East Somerville that get to showcase their food. We have really diverse lineup of music, and then always interactive activities like Esh Circuits Arts does their aerial arts. We have you know, different activities. The rec department does really nice activities for the children. We had Greg Gaziel of the Somerville Flea, we're partnering with him this year for our summer streets, and he'll bring some of his craft vendors and flea vendors to Summer Street. So that's been a really nice partnership, and they were at Carnival and really enjoyed it.
Excellent. I
So
think
that
it's
was
important
great.
as you highlight the collaboration opportunities and the ways to create and then strengthen already existing partnerships.
Absolutely.
Because now I feel there's something available every single weekend in
I think
Somerville.
that's true.
Pretty much almost year round. People think we kind of hibernate for the winter, but in reality we don't.
There's not many months that have nothing.
That is true. Makes for a busy season for you. But as you said, with the kickoff of Summer Streets, and I know we have 3 more of them coming up, can you talk a little bit more about what people can expect for those?
Yeah, so they'll be August, September, and October. August is on Holland Street, September is on Highland Ave, and October is on Somerville Ave. And if people don't know, Summer Street shuts down a half a mile of the street in a busy street in the city, and really gives people the opportunity to come out and walk on the street instead of cars being there. And it comes from this open street concept that is very popular in a lot of other countries, and we've seen it adopted recently in Boston on Newbury Street. So it's really catching on. Cambridge obviously has done it for many years along the river. And so the original idea was just to shut down the street and make it a place where people can walk and enjoy being out and getting active and seeing their neighbors. But we also wanted to bring out community businesses, give an opportunity for the businesses on the street to showcase what they do, and then have interactive activities. And all of the Arts Council events are free because we believe that as a city we want to provide entertainment, educational opportunities, and places for people to connect and see culture and art that doesn't have a price tag, so it's not excluding anyone who can't afford it. So the Summer Streets are a really great example of that, because anyone can come out and do the interactive activities, have some food, hear some music. Each one will have different programming, but they all have kind of these themes that go throughout them. In August last year, for the first time, we had a 60-foot bouncy house that had a water slide component. It was very popular, and so we're hoping to do that again this year.
It's nice as you talk about the evolution of those. You know, it's one thing to utilize space that in a way that you typically can't, right? So the streets are designed for traffic and,
Cars.
pedestrian access and bicycles. But to really have just the availability of it. And it's always kind of fun when you see young people in attendance as well, and they're kind of like the energy just from like one side to the other, and that sense of it being a safe space and people being able to relax, the vigilance a little bit in order to really partake of it all. And it's nice because, as you said, the areas of the city that are utilized are typically so busy.
Yes.
Typically so busy, and just having that as a way to just change the pace and kind of look around and appreciate the space in a different way, because as we're all hustling up and down Highland Ave, you're either trying to get somewhere or you're leaving somewhere else, and you're not really taking the opportunity to appreciate what's around you, and this really changes the whole tone of that.
Yeah. And I think it gives people a nice ownership over their own city, that they're in the streets. They get to have their activities in the streets. And most of the people who come out are local businesses and communities and nonprofits that provide activities, parkour, open air circus, circus arts, as I mentioned. And so for them, as community organizations that already serve Somerville, to get to showcase themselves kind of in the street is really a sweet opportunity.
It's often fun when you kind of, I like to crowd watch sometimes, and you see people who are just like willing to try something for the first time, right? You watch a performance, you hear a different type of music, and then there's the opportunity to engage on a different level. So, it's one thing to see open air performance, but then to actually be like, here's a way that you can engage with that.
Exactly.
Very fun.
The first year that I ran the Highland Ave Summer Streets, we had a woman from the church right on Highland Ave. They were next to Open Air Circus, and this must have been like an 80-year-old woman, and they got her up on stilts, and it was just the sweetest thing to see the collaboration between these two communities that coexist in Somerville but might not have overlapped before, and that's kind of the magic of Summer Streets, I think.
I completely agree. They're always such fun to just go to, too. It's like a sense of, you have the programming, you have the structure, but it's like you don't know what's going to happen. Because like you said, there's these happen upon things and just circumstantial meetings. And, it's very fun when you kind of see how coincidence brings people together and then the relationships that develop from that.
Definitely.
So you and I have had the opportunity to work together quite a bit since you've come on board. Most recently was at the beginning of June. The city hosted the Big Gay Dance Party, a partnership between the Arts Council, Arts Union, and the Health and Human Services Department. So typically each year, the city, in partnership with the schools, hosts the flag raising on City Hall Concourse to celebrate Pride Month. And that's great, and we've done that. We get, a lot of people out willing to show support. However, we had wanted to expand beyond that. I mean, that's a nice event, but it really doesn't encompass the entire celebration of Pride Month. So the collaboration turned into the Big Gay Dance Party, which turned into an absolutely awesome time. So
it was
tell
so
me a
much
little
fun.
bit about your thoughts on that, and then I'll share a good story about you afterwards.
Oh, great. That sounds great. I think we talked about having an event, more of like a festival or some type of event that wasn't just the flag raising, something on the weekend maybe, between our two departments, which I think was a really great collaboration. Again, most of our events are collaborations with other people or organizations or departments, and I love that. I think that's a huge part of what I enjoy about my job, is working with other groups, not just, planning events by myself.
That's what makes it special.
Absolutely.
The idea to bounce ideas off of someone else and really have that level of investment from multiple partners.
So we came up with the idea of doing a dance party, partly because within the LGBTQ community, dance is a really big part of the culture, and it's a really fun activity, and it's a fun event to bring people together, but also because for the first year of doing something like this, it's definitely kind of a little more low-key than a whole festival. We want to try it out and kind of put the idea out there and see how people would react. And it turned out that we had a huge response. I think we had about 600 or 700 people there, packed Union Square. Really amazing diversity of age. I thought that was really wonderful. Really little children all the way up to older adults, and anywhere in between, a lot of young people, high school students and teenagers, young adults. We partnered with the high school GSA, and they helped promote it, and they came and really enjoyed being part of it. We partnered with a lot of local nonprofits who came and provided information and services. These are all groups that serve the LGBTQ community, and that was great to have them there. And then we ended up having this amazing performance by these two drag queens, one of whom is from Somerville and actually grew up with her sister in high school. And so it was so fun to have them, and they actually weren't able to confirm until the last minute because they had other events that they had to perform in. And so I was so happy that they were able to come, and it really got the crowd going.
Oh, yes.
It really kind of hyped everyone up, and that was so wonderful. And it was clear by the response that this is something that is wanted and needed in Somerville, and that we need to continue to provide programming for this community because it's obviously there's a want for it. And I think a lot of people, the feedback afterwards was that they felt very welcomed, and we prioritize so much in the city and as city staff welcoming all communities. I think this community is one that has always been welcome, but this was a special way to say, like, we really value you. We want to put on an event that's for this community. So I think that was really great.
Yeah, I mean, the energy level was amazing. I was amazed, like, walking through the crowds and really being able to talk with people and hear so many comments about how proud they were to be in a place like this where everyone is so welcome, and the family-friendly atmosphere that was attached to it. One opportunity I had was to speak to two older women, and it was one of those very moving interactions that you just happen to have. And the woman had come over and was like, she had seen either you or I being interviewed, because she was like, I just want to have a quick moment. And I was like, sure. And she said, her age is in her mid-80s, and she was like, I would never have been able to have a level of comfort to attend something like this. She's like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. She's like, and I didn't think in my lifetime that I would be able to come here with my wife and be at this public event and not have any fear about any stigma being attached. Or she said, in her words, anyone giving you a sideways look, or, she said, you just got to be out. She's like, I'm out with my neighbors. She's like, I see the woman that I bump into at the dry cleaner. She's like, I see the boy who shovels my driveway.
It's
like,
amazing.
there was just so much engagement that it was just...
Absolutely.
It was amazing. And the level of energy just kind of stayed. Like, it was kind of just... It ramped up. Like you said, the performances, the music was really just so engaging, and people just... As we know at the end, people didn't want to leave.
We had to kick them out.
Kind of. Which, like I said, it was a really great partnership and a really good opportunity to work with you again. And I did admire, as you noticed, your level of dedication and your energy towards decorating. So So
Yes.
Union Square, it's, it's a plaza, it's a parking lot, so let's be
Right,
generous.
so there is a plaza area, but actually most of the program we do is in the parking lot. It's
So,
true.
it does take some energy and creativity to jazz up a parking lot.
Yeah.
And I really admired your willingness to hop up in a cherry picker and hang things up in the air and, document that from your phone, which didn't make me at all nervous when you were doing that up there. But
The
just,
phone survived.
Yes, exactly, as did you.
Most importantly.
That was more importantly for you. But just that sense of like throwing yourself totally into it. You know what I mean? And it was probably one of the favorite events that I've ever participated in. I'm already excited as we look ahead to next year to figure out how to expand it and what else can we bring to it.
Yeah, I think that's a great example going up in the bucket truck. We have support from the Public Works Department. They do such a wonderful job supporting all these festivals, and I really feel like maybe not all the guys in the Public Works Department would attend all of these festivals that we put on, but in their job, it's their job to help set them up. And they get really invested, and they really are so supportive of me and other staff who help with the events. And it's so meaningful to me that you could have these different communities, again, that might not overlap or might not be part of a certain event, but they're there supporting. And they put me up in that bucket truck for about 3 hours while we hung flags and the banners, but I think it really helped transform the parking lot, and we had our photo booth with our gold, decorations,
That
shiny,
was a lot of fun.
and we had our amazing DJ, and we kind of, put those big gold banner behind her, and it really was like a community collaboration, which helped make it so exciting.
Oh, definitely. I was happy to do the decorating on the ground.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, the partnerships too, we had support from the police department, which again is great to see people just able to mingle and interact like that. And in chatting with the officers, they were like, you had people coming up to them because they happened to be there, but with questions about other things. So, it really is kind of about just the public service component of all of it. And yeah, I'm really excited for next year and already have some new sparkly ideas.
I can't wait to hear them.
So as we look ahead, I have a number of festivals, some of which have happened, which are still worth noting, but then some that are upcoming. So I know you had the Fix the World Festival and Joe's Jazz and Blues. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so June was a busy month, and the Jazz and Blues Festival has been going for many years, and it was originally Joe, our mayor's, idea because he played in the jazz band in high school and he loves jazz music. And so he wanted to have a Jazz and Blues Festival. It happens in Powder House Park, and it's just a really relaxed day of really wonderful music. People come, have a picnic, and sit on the grass and hear the music. So that was wonderful as always, and really a nice relaxed again, it's a festival, but it's pretty relaxed. People come, hang out, and hear some great music.
There's something for everyone.
Exactly.
All the different energy
Exactly. And it is nice that we have so many festivals for different communities and different types, so people can really find the one that fits them. And a lot of people, because they hear about the Arts Council or the city events through one event, then they'll look on our website and hear about the others.
Find about the others, like Fix the World.
So the Fix the World.
Very ambitious.
It was yes, it was. It was an ambitious title. So the How to Fix the World Festival. It was the first time we had it. We partnered with Greg Cook, who's an event planner we worked with on Pity Party and Tiny Tall Ships, as well as with two of our board members, Deidre Montgomery and Marissa Molinar, and then Didi Delgado, who's an organizer for Black Lives Matter. And we were a team putting this festival together, which was really wonderful. And we thought about we put out a call for artists, art that has some message around fixing the world or ending oppression or something like that. And after this recent election, there's been a lot of visual art speaking to this matter, a lot of gallery shows. But we wanted to showcase art that wasn't just visual art, but art that was performative and art that could be out in a plaza or installations or interactive art. And so we had a lot of art. We had a full stage of dance, as well as a hip-hop performance at the end, hip-hop music. And that was amazing on the main stage, really diverse mix of dance performers speaking to different issues around oppression and liberation. And then we also had a lot of interactive activities where people could learn about privilege and oppression, and about, we had a postcard writing station where you could write to representatives with your thoughts. So there was a lot of really interactive pieces. It wasn't just, oh, here's a nonprofit that's tabling and telling you about what they do. It's like, here's a nonprofit telling you what they do and giving you an opportunity to be involved with their mission.
Right, the interactive engagement component is so important in all of these, you know, and like you said, referencing the Jazz and Blues Fest, there are times that you want the kind of more passive participation, which you want to see a performance and kind of relax. And then there are these opportunities where you want to pay a little bit more attention and you want to become more engaged. And the opportunities are great. And it's always good to have kind of the takeaway too, whether you've learned more about an organization or there's an action item that you can then follow up on. It just increases community participation.
Yep. And that was key to us for this one, because you can't just have a How to Fix the World Festival with nothing to do, right? So all of them had actions. Ben Echeverria from the Welcome Project, who we partner with a lot, spoke about race and immigration and what we can do to support our immigrants in the city. And at the end of the festival, we had a parade and rally with people getting to hold signs for things that they cared about and having participatory chants and singing. And that was really a wonderful end to the festival where people could feel like they'd come together for a cause.
Very nice. There's so many offerings. We'll never get through them all, but how about we talk about Dancing in the Streets and then the upcoming Haiti and Brazil Fest?
Great. So Dancing in the Streets is a program that we've done in the past. A few years ago we started it, and this year we had the opportunity to work with very well-known dance artists to work with local dance troupes to develop a new piece of work. And then we had 2 performances at Foss Park. In the past we've done them all over the city. Really the idea is to get dance into unusual places. So these happen in the parking lot right by Foss Park. And it was a chance for local dance companies to present new work and also have a professional development component to the training. And we got funding again from the state for that. And that was a really great opportunity to support our local dance companies in Somerville.
Excellent.
Yeah. And Haiti and Brazil. So Haiti and Brazil will be happening at the end of July. And that's a wonderful, again, collaboration with the Summer Viva department, Adriana and Jenny, who are our Haitian and our Haitian Creole speaking and Portuguese speaking language liaisons. I partner with them on this project. And especially this year, given the political climate, we really wanted to offer the Haitian and Brazilian culture, but also include all cultures and make sure we welcome everyone to come and celebrate those cultures and celebrate their own cultures. So we'll have Haitian and Brazilian music, food, dancing. This is the first time the event will be at night, so it's going to be an even more kind of raucous evening dance party. There'll be food, and there'll also be, again, interactive art. So we're going to try to have a mural that we all create together and things like that for people to really come together and connect with each other.
You have the night market, which I'm not familiar with.
Again, so the first weekend in July 8th and 9th, I believe, the weekend before Art Beat, we have 2 events. We have the night market, which is a first-time event, and that will be an evening flea and craft market. So again, we're partnering with the Somerville Flea Market, who's usually in Davis Square, and they'll be coming out and having vendors do artisan crafts, really, nice jewelry and leather goods and other things like that, and also some flea market finds. And then
that sounds fun.
that will be kind of a fun evening market, and we'll have bands playing as well. So there'll be music, and you can come listen, hang out at one of the local food establishments and peruse.
Very cool.
So that will be in the evening, and then the next day we actually have the Nipple Festival, which happened, I believe, 5 years ago, and it's coming back again this year. We're working with the Greater Boston Nepalese Community Group, and they're bringing a ton of Nepalese music, craft vendors, dance, again, really showcasing that community. So I think July will be really full of cultural offerings from lots of different communities that are really represented in Somerville, and just like the Big Gay Dance Party, making those communities feel welcome and celebrated here.
That's great. There's always so much going on. We could do like 7 shows, but time is getting a little short.
Yes.
We have fireworks coming up Thursday evening. What's that celebration
June
look like?
29th, Somerville Fireworks, always a really great event. Again, it brings out the whole community. We usually have, about 15,000 people in the Trumfield area. This year we'll be having the Air Force Band. We're really honored to have them come up and play for us, as well as the usual Booty Vortex and the Sunsetters, who always perform. We'll be bringing back members who have been in the Sunsetters in the past, vintage members of the Sunsetters, and they'll be performing with the new youth that are in the troupe. So we're really excited about that, and we'll also be having storytelling. We're collecting stories this year for the city's 175th anniversary, so you can come and tell your story as well.
Excellent. That was a nice segue into my last part, which we're going to talk about. The city is celebrating its 175th anniversary celebration this year, and we have been working diligently with other staff led by Jackie Rossetti to pull together an entire year honoring this milestone.
Absolutely. It's a great chance to just celebrate our city and celebrate all that we've done since becoming our own city. And one of the big projects is storytelling. So there'll be a storytelling troupe out collecting stories at all of the big events this year. So come find that team and tell them about your story of living here, whether you've been here 50 years or 5 years, whatever your connection to Somerville, we would love to hear your story.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on,
Thanks
Nina.
for having
this was
me.
a ton of information. I encourage if people are looking for more to go on the Somerville Arts Council website. There's a calendar that is packed to the gills every possible time you look at it. And you know, people can find you running around the city or up in a cherry picker or whatever needs to happen to make that happen. So again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
As always, I'd like to thank the production crew, Joe Constantine and Steve DiCarlo. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next month.